What is good, y'all? Welcome back to Appreciate Greatness. Today, as you see, we got the March Madness bracket up. We're going to be talking about March Madness, man. Bracket's out. It's the best time of the year. I really hope this looks... It's a little stretch res because it just has to be to fit. I don't know why. Normally it fits perfectly, but it's not for some reason. But we're going to get it started. The bracket is on my laptop, which is down here. So when I'm looking down here, I'm just looking at the bracket. When I'm looking up at my monitor, up at the screen, I'm looking at what's on my monitor, which is my recording and my camera. And then sometimes my mouse will randomly just leave the screen, come back, Anyway, let's get into it. We're going to start with Duke Siena. Duke wins. We're going to move on. Siena, there is one single 16 seed in Howard. That's the only 16 seed I could even see having an attempt at a 1 seed. But for now, there's no talking about any of them. I don't see any of these 1 seeds losing this year, especially these 1 seeds. 8-9 matchup, Ohio State TCU. Ohio State's playing some really good basketball lately. They even had a really tight game with Michigan, who seems to be sputtering a little bit compared to what they normally are, but golly, they're good, man. And they hold off games like Ohio State, games like the Wisconsin game. We'll get into them, but they're really good. I could ramble on and on and on, so I gotta keep it short and sweet on some of these. I want to see the Bruce Thornton run in March. I really could see them. We'll talk about it. I like Ohio State over TCU. I like the 2 guards in John Mobley and Bruce Thornton compared to anything TCU has in the backcourt. It's just way better. I think they're a way better team, which is rare for an 8-9 seed. I think since 2018. There might be a stat here, actually. That's one thing I really love about this. Since 2018, the 9 seeds are 18-10 versus 8 seeds. So that's crazy. Oops. Okay, we're good. On to the 5 versus 12, St. John's versus Northern Iowa. St. John's is 19-1 in their last 20. I don't know if y'all realize that. The no point guard thing is scary, but the defense is awesome. Rick Pitino's got these boys hooping defensively. And then Zuby Ejiofor can make up for the no point guard thing. And Northern Iowa doesn't have size for Zuby, really. And they aren't like a crazy team. They lost a lot of games in the MVC, and they were my dark horse pick to win the MVC. Actually, I had Belmont winning, but, I said that Northern Iowa could definitely win. Northern Iowa went on to win, but they're just not good enough to win a game in the NCAA tournament. Next is Kansas versus Cal Baptist. I got Kansas. Cal Baptist isn't all that great either. Dominique Daniels is a guy who can really get hot. He's a good scorer. He averages 23 a game. It's a little inefficient. And they really hang their hat on defense in the conference play, and it's just Dominique Daniels getting buckets and then them playing solid defense. And even with Kansas sputtering late, I just have Kansas winning relatively easy over Cal Baptist. The 6 versus 11, this one's fun. This is my first upset of the bracket. South Florida moving on, beating Louisville. I think they have the better front court in this game, to be honest. Isaiah Nelson is awesome. And USF also has a great scoring guard in Wes Ennis, but they're also just freak athletes, really good athletes. Their size and athleticism matches that of a, ACC, Big Ten school, Big 12, keep going, SEC, whatever. In Louisville, when they don't have Mikal Brown Jr., their offense is weird. I worry about the front court a good amount, especially against South Florida. With Mikal Brown, I see them having a chance. Without him, I think this could be flipped, and South Florida could be the 6 seed, and Louisville is the 11 almost, So, yeah, give me the big USF in this one. Next is Michigan State, North Dakota State. This is interesting because North Dakota State's biggest strength is controlling the glass, and that's in a mid-major conference. That's in a mid-major way. Now, NDSU is a better shooting team than Michigan State, but Michigan State's the best rebounding team in the country, and when you're facing a mid-major team who can shoot the ball, that's pretty massive. Michigan State obviously cannot shoot. But Jeremy Fears Jr. controlling the game, the great rebounding of Michigan State. It's better than North Dakota State's, obviously. I can't pick against Michigan State here. I'm going to have them moving on to the round of 32. Next, we have UCLA at UCF. Neither team is good defensively, really, but UCLA playing as well as they are, it feels like they have things figured out. Donovan Dent has been awesome. Tyler Bilodeau obviously missed the Michigan State game in which they lost. Donovan Dent also got hurt late in that game, and I really like their team. This team's chances are around, but the way Donovan Dent's playing of late, man. Now, UCF isn't a slouch. They're not a slouch. Like, this is going to be a really good game, really close game. They can shoot it. They have great athletes everywhere again, and Tamus Folks is really, really good. I just don't think – I think they're playing a super tough team at a super tough time, and I think UCLA is going to get the best of them. And then UConn Furman, listen, this isn't the Furman team from a couple years back. This isn't obviously this isn't the UConn team from a couple years back, but I don't think Furman's a good enough shooting team to even give them much of a shot. Cooper Bowser is a really efficient big, but you have to think that you're facing Terrace Reed Jr. So I just don't see. And then you have, Alec Caravan, Solo Ball, Silas Demery, a really old UConn team that could really make some noise. But they are very inconsistent for how old they are. Blah, blah, blah. I'm sure we'll talk about them some more as well. Florida versus Prairie View or Lehigh. Lehigh was good this year. They were solid. There's just no shot against this Florida team with how good on the boards they are, how good their bigs are. Florida is definitely the team that is not going to get beat. Florida and Michigan, all these teams are just too big, too good defensively to get beat by a 1 seed this early. Clemson, or a 16 seed, excuse me. Clemson, Iowa, the 8-9. These two teams play the same exact basketball. Clemson really leans on their defense. Iowa's much better offensively. And I think that I'm leaning Iowa because of the fact that they have Bennett Sturts, they have Ben McCollum. Ben McCollum's a freak on the clipboard, but also Bennett Sturts just the best player in the game. And I think that the way these two teams play, with how slow they play, with how it's almost a guarantee that this game comes down to big shots, big timely offense, not getting stops, but timely offense. And there's one guy I trust the most on the court, and that's Bennett Sturts. And so to me, it's probably the hardest game to call in the first round, but to me, I think that's where I lean is Iowa, a lot in part to Bennett Sturts. Vanderbilt, McNeese, this is going to be really interesting. McNeese forces an obscene amount of turnovers. And so does Tyler Tanner and Duke Miles. Neither team really turns it over. Tyler Tanner and Duke Miles obviously do a good job of taking care of the ball. Larry Johnson is great for McNeese. But Vandy's been balling of late. They've been playing really good, especially Tyler Tanner, except for today in the championship game. I'm recording this Sunday night, by the way. So I'm going to pick Vanderbilt. I like Tyler Nickel. I think Jalen Washington had a really, really big game against Florida. I hope that helps him. I actually didn't get to watch the SEC championship today, but I really don't know how it went. And I know Tyler Tanner didn't play well, but I don't put too much into that, especially 3 days off, or 3 days straight of playing, or 4 now. I think it's 3 for Vandy. And then, you beat Florida the day before. Now you have to wake up and play early in the morning. Like, it's just a lot pointing in the wrong direction for Vanderbilt, and it's a tough atmosphere environment to play in. Next is Nebraska-Troy. I love these two teams a lot. I love Thomas Dowd for Troy, but they the swinging point is Nebraska's defense. Like, they have a really great defensive team, and that's why I just can't see Troy getting an upset here, just because of, again, how good that defense is. Next is North Carolina, VCU. I'm a North Carolina fan. I'm wearing a Panthers hoodie right now, and I hate to do it as a North Carolina fan, but with no Caleb Wilson, I think we're in for a struggle. I really do. I think Lazar Djokovic versus Henry Vesar is going to be really fun. It's going to be exciting. I just don't have enough faith in the fact that, maybe Henry Bogovats Henry Bogovats. Dude, Luke Bogovats knocks down some shots. Seth Trimble. I know Seth Trimble's going to play well, at least defensively. He's really getting in the full court and transition. But I just don't trust the offense or a secondary guy in the offense to step up. And then you have Terrence Hill Jr. and Laser Djokovic, and I just think that's enough for VCU to move on. Illinois versus Penn. Penn is one of the best shooting teams in the country. They have a former 5-star, TJ Power, at the helm. Ethan Roberts is going to be back for the national tourney. He was their leading scorer this year, and they went and won the Ivy League without him. I could really see an upset here just based on Penn getting hot, TJ Power playing really, really well. But I think that Illinois and them, with them limiting Kyle Limbaugh as well of late, and he's probably going to ramp up a lot in the tournament and how well he's been playing in those limited minutes. I really think Illinois is going to win this game. I think Illinois is even better than a 3 seed. They could probably be a 2 seed, but it's kind of a stacked year. I think they're better than Purdue, but they got the 3 seed. Purdue did win the tournament, so I guess that that goes for them. But next up is St. Mary's A&M. You couldn't get more polar opposite in terms of play style. St. Mary's slows it down, play through Morauskas, and A&M Buddy Ball, speed it up all the way up. I think that St. Mary's is poised enough to knock off A&M, and especially because of how A&M's played late. But we've seen Bucky Ball work in the tournament, and it's hard to pick against it. But I do think St. Mary's, just being as calm, cool, collected as they are going to win. And then Houston, this is not a team that's going to lose to a team like Idaho. And that's just literally, that is the analysis that I can give. They're just too good defensively. They're not going to lose a game like that. Arizona, I kind of think the same thing. Shout out Long Island. Fins up, baby. They got out of the conference tournament, which is awesome. But yeah, Arizona knocking them off. Arizona's going to win handedly. Next, 8-9 matchup, Villanova, Utah State. Utah State's just a better team. The size is a little bit of a concern of mine, especially facing Duke Brennan. You have a Caden Lewis as well. You have Tyler Perkins as well. And they're good, but I really like MJ Collins and co. They're just awesome. I love the offense so much. The defense does worry me. The size does worry me, but I do think that they can beat Villanova, who hasn't beat a good team. I don't think they beat a top 50 team all season. So that's a big thing. Next is the 5-12, Wisconsin versus High Point. And it's an interesting one as well, because High Point's calling card is their turnover differential. And they're a team that they drew a team that just doesn't turn the ball over. They do, but not a ton in Wisconsin. And I have big concerns about the size. I have big concerns about the 3-point shooting with High Point. And then you're facing Nick Boyd, John Blackwell, Nolan Winter, Rapp. Why can't I think of his first name right now? Rapp. Something like that. I didn't even say a first name. I said something. I'm tired. It is 1 a.m, but we're pushing through. Wisconsin's been playing at a super high level of late. Nearly knocked off Michigan. Nearly made it to the Big Ten championship. I have to go Wisconsin here. I really do. Hawaii, Arkansas. This is going to be one of my favorite games to watch. Arkansas led the league in 3-point rate. Led the country in 3-point rate. Hawaii, I think, led the country in 3-point rate allowed. They don't allow threes because they play a no-help defense. Arkansas shoots more threes than any team. It's going to be really interesting. I think Hawaii can hang in this one. I really do. But the thing that worries me so much is their offense. I don't think their offense is good enough to, even though Arkansas's defense isn't great, I just don't think Hawaii's offense is good enough to carry them through this game and get them a win. I'm going to go Arkansas, unfortunately. And Darius Acuff, there's not a soul on earth right now who can guard him one-on-one. So give me Arkansas, especially with how well they're playing of late. BYU versus, I have NC State. I have NC State beating Texas. And then I have them knocking off BYU. And I think no Richie Saunders really hurts BYU. But also, NC State, there's always a playing game, and then they go and win. And I think this is the one. I think NC State is going to win this playing game. I really like Paul McNeil getting on a hot streak, knocking down shots. He's like a prototypical March shooter. And this is the prototypical 11 seed that can make a run. NC State doesn't turn the ball over much. They force turnovers. Kadir Copeland's a really great point guard, really in control. He played in the tournament last year. And then you have, AJ Debonsa, who's going to get his. He's going to do a really good job of scoring. Van Allen Lubin inside, facing Kiba Keita. I think that's pretty even matchup. But AJ is prone to some mistakes. I think that Rob Wright is too. I just think BYU is too turnover prone in the end of the day to be able to escape against NC State. NC State moving on. Gonzaga, Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State scores a lot, but Gonzaga's identity is their defense, and Gonzaga is just a much better team at that identity. Missouri, Miami. Missouri's sputtering coming into the tournament. I think they've lost 3 or 4 straight, and they're not near the roster that Miami is. I worry about Miami's shooting at times, but I like the defense. I love the intensity they showed in the ACC tournament. I do think that if things don't go their way, they tend to kind of lose out a little bit mentally, but I have them beating Missouri. I don't think Missouri's that good of a team, to be honest. Next is Purdue Queens. Give me Purdue. They've been playing really, really, really good ball at a high level. Michigan versus UMBC and Howard. Give me Michigan. Here's a really, really fun one. Georgia versus St. Louis. I really love St. Louis. Georgia plays at, I think, a really high rate of pace, if I do remember correctly. And I guess we could look. Y'all want to look together? Let's take a gander at Georgia here. You see the last team I looked up was Miami. Georgia, yeah, they're 11th in pace. That's what it feels like. They fly up and down the court. St. Louis slows it down a little more, and we can see that, I'm sure. Okay, let's just do this. Lewis. Probably the second one. Oops, wrong way. Yeah, second one. No, okay. See, I don't feel that. So both teams play at good tempo. Honestly, I really don't feel that St. Louis plays at that high of rate of pace. But, they do force some turnovers. And we can even look here, because look at how close these two teams are. You see Georgia here, and then you see St. Louis here. Look at some of these numbers. For St. Louis, three-point percentage, second in the nation, and then they're 8th in the nation in three-point defense. Really great. They just have a really good defense. You look at this. This is effective field goal percentage. They're 3rd in the nation offensively, 2nd in the nation defensively. They have a lot of long, lanky athletes. They rebound really well. Deion Brown, one of those lanky athletes. Kellen Thoms, obviously Robbie Avila, and then you have I'm not gonna remember his name. Bad time to not remember his name. I was mid-search and I remembered it's Trey Green. You have Trey Green at guard. I just think it's better than what Georgia has and Cannon Catchings and Blue Kane and Samta Surreal. So give me St. Louis. I think that's a really fun matchup though, but I think St. Louis is going to win. Texas Tech Akron, give me Texas Tech, man. I know they're without JT Toppin. I'm fully aware, but Christian Anderson is going to play every minute of every game. Donovan Atwell is another guy who can really get hot in March, and this is nothing against Akron. Akron's a really good team. They have been super, super consistent over the years, especially recently. They're an insane offensive team. Like an Akron-Alabama rematch would be so fun, but I just don't think Akron can get out of this round and beat Texas Tech. It's a lot to do with Christian Anderson and how well he runs that offense, and that's my take. All right, Alabama, Hofstra. Man, give me Hofstra, man. Alabama's struggled. I really love LeBaron Philon a lot, but here's the thing about Hofstra. They have the offensive power with Cruz Davis. He averages 20. I think he averages 5 assists as well. But defensive, they're one of the best defensive teams in the country. I can't believe they finished. I think they finished 3rd in the Colonial. This is a really, 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 really good team, and I think they match up really well against Bama. I think they can match the pace. I think they can match the offensive firepower. They can match the shooting, and they play really good defense, and I think that's the swing point, is just that they're a good defensive team playing this Bama team. I have Hofstra Next is Tennessee versus Miami, Ohio, or SMU. I actually think Miami, Ohio wins that game, especially with the way SMU's been playing. I'm really shocked that Tennessee's a 6 seed, to be honest. I mean, it makes some sense, but just with how they played of late. But it's a really good team. It really is. Jacoby Gillespie, Bishop Boswell, Nate Ament, Estrella. I mean, I always forget the fourth guy's first name for whatever reason. I don't know what's up with my head. But I really like Tennessee. I have them winning. And then Virginia's going to beat Wright State. Kentucky, Santa Clara, this is going to be a really fun one. I think I wonder how many people have picked Santa Clara. Not as many as I thought. I wonder if I was hoping there was a percentage. But I really like this team. Elijah Mahi's great. Christian Hammond's great. And then you have Sash off the bench. You have Alan Graves off the bench. This is a really, really good Santa Clara team. I have them over Kentucky. I just don't think Kentucky's that great of a team at this point in the year. And I have Iowa State beating Tennessee State. That's it for the round of 64. On to the round of 32. I'm going to try and speed this up a little bit. We'll go back up to Duke, Ohio State. And all of my heart wants to say Ohio State, wants to say Bruce Thornton's going to go on a run. But I think, and honestly, if there's no Pat Ngongba, I could really see it. But Duke's just so good. They're so good. They're so poised. I want a Bruce Thornton run so bad, dude. We're gonna go Duke. St. John's over Kansas again. Kansas has been struggling. They don't really have their offense figured out with Darren Peterson, and defensively they've been good, but they haven't been great. And just the offensive creation has been so bad, and you're playing a team who's, I think St. John's is a better defensive team than Kansas, and you're playing a team who can just lock you down. I really like St. John's in that one. South Florida, Michigan State, there's another fun two teams who can really, really rebound. I think that Tom Izzo is going to figure out a way to get Michigan State past South Florida. I think I'm going to go South Florida, though. I love their athleticism. I think it matches up with Michigan State and more. I think they're even more athletic than them. And I think they're more athletic than guys like Cole or Cooper. The big swing point for me is always going to be Jeremy Fears Jr. I think that he can control the game really well. And then give me Michigan State. I just talked myself into it. Obviously, Isaiah Newton, I think, is going to kill in that game. I think Wes Ennis is good enough to have a big impact in that game, especially scoring-wise. But I'm going to take Michigan State. And then the 7-2 matchup, UCLA-UConn. Give me UCLA, man. Donovan Dent playing really well at the right time. Tyler Bilodeau is awesome. He shoots 50% from three as a wing. And UConn just doesn't have the firepower, the same amount of firepower as they have. They're inconsistent. And I think UCLA can really get them. Florida, Iowa, give me Florida. Again, this team's just too good with the bigs. Iowa cannot match up to Florida. Vanderbilt, Nebraska. This is a fun one. I think Nebraska is going to get this one. I do. I love this Vandy team, though. I think Sam Hoiberg versus Tyler Tanner is going to be a really fun matchup. I think the swing point is going to be Duke Miles. How well does he play in this game? And just with how good Nebraska is defensively, I think that they're gonna have a good chance at beating Vanderbilt. VCU, Illinois. This is another one that could potentially end in an upset, but I don't think it will. I think if North Carolina can get past VCU, they have a good chance at Illinois. But I'm going to go Illinois beating VCU. Again, I really like that VCU team, but Illinois is so good. They really are. They're really good. And then we're going to move Houston on over St. Mary's. This is just the exact style of team that St. Mary's can't beat. A high-pressure team. And I do have concerns with Houston, especially offensively, because of the fact they don't have a really great post player. But give me Houston over St. Mary's. We'll scroll back up here. Arizona's going to beat Utah State. The size difference there really going to do in Utah State, in my opinion. Arkansas, Wisconsin is fun. Two teams that are hot at the right times. Arkansas is a little hotter. Darius Acuff has been insane. I'm going to pick them over Wisconsin. I do think, though, that Wisconsin has a good chance because they can really go at Darius Acuff. Acuff, I think that Nick Boyd and John Blackwell play better defense than Acuff does. So I could see Wisconsin winning that game. I'm going to go Gonzaga here. I'm going to go Purdue here. Gonzaga over NC State. They're just a better team. Graham Ike is better than Van Allen Lubin. I think that matchup's going to be dominated by Ike. I think Ike is going to have a really good game in this one. And then Purdue, they've been hot again. Miami just doesn't match up super well to them, in my opinion. I think they have the guards, but just with how well Purdue's played lately, I'm going to take Purdue. Michigan over St. Louis. It would be fun if somehow St. Louis figured it out, but I don't think they can with just how good those Michigan bigs are. Texas Tech Hofstra. I could see a little Hofstra run here, especially if Texas Tech doesn't shoot the ball super well. But I'm going to go Texas Tech, and I could even see Texas Tech making a run. And if they had JT Toppin here and more the 4 seed, say, instead of the 5, man, I might have them beating Michigan. But we'll see. Tennessee, Virginia. This is an interesting spot, actually. I really like this Virginia team quite a bit. But Tennessee's really good. I'm going to go Virginia. Virginia's played well. They beat Miami really well, really good. Played really close to Duke. Tennessee has just been all right to close the year. Nate Ament, you never know which kind of guy you're going to get, and I don't think you're going to get a great one against Ryan Odom's Virginia. And then Santa Clara versus Iowa State. This could be a really fun upset, but I don't see it. I think it's going to be a close game, though. I think that Allen Graves matches up really well to Josh Jefferson. I think the swing point is and will always be Milan Momcilovic. Back up here to Duke St. John's. Listen, I think that St. John's could do it. But the big thing, it's a big but. But I just think Cam Boozer is so consistent. Always going to have a good game. And if they have Patrick Gongba back, I worry about the offense so much with St. John's. I worry about the no point guard thing a ton. Give me Duke moving on. And then Michigan State, UCLA. Give me UCLA again. Keeping the run going. Donovan Dent, again, I think is going to be able to lead them to a big-time run. They go to the Elite Eight. Next is Florida, Nebraska. Nebraska's run's going to end here. Florida's just a better team by a lot, unfortunately. But they have sputtered. They've had some hiccups along the way. And then give me Illinois beating Houston. I love Illinois' offense. I think it's just too good at the end of the day for Houston. I think that's kind of my rationale there. Arizona, Arkansas. I'm going to go Arizona. I trust Jaden Bradley. I trust Braden Burries so much. And you saw in the Big 12 championship game, and you saw just in the Big 12 tournament in general just how good of a team they are. But I trust Jaden Bradley with the ball in his hands, a veteran point guard. And then Braden Burries, even if he's having a rough shooting night or a rough shooting stretch, he can recover. He can get out of it. He can break out of it. And they can win ball games. And then I'm going to take Gonzaga over Purdue. I think that their defense is what really swings this game. Purdue struggles defensively at times. Gonzaga doesn't have those super bad offensive struggles. And I think they're a really good team. Give me the Zags moving on. Michigan, Texas Tech, again, if there's JT Toppin, or even like the slight semblance, if there's a 75% JT Toppin playing in this game, I take Texas Tech because I really love that team. But I'm going to go Michigan, and Michigan's a really tough team to beat, but we saw them get beat today. Iowa State going to move on. When they're hot, man, it's hard to beat them, especially when they get the offense rolling, and you saw it against Arizona. Next, we have Duke, UCLA. We might end up with all ones, which, it happened last year. Duke, UCLA, give me Duke again. I think that Cam Boozer is going to be too good for them to control UCLA, to control defensively, and UCLA is just not a great defensive team in the first place. Florida, Illinois, this is the upset I have. I have Illinois. The offensive firepower is just so real. I love Florida's front court, but they struggle. They go through struggles at times. Thomas Hawk doesn't play perfect offensively every game. Alex Condon is very inconsistent. Ruben Shinyulu, as good as he is defensively, as good of a rebounder as he is, he's not much offensively. I can really see Illinois here with the offense that they have, making a run, making the Final Four. This one's tough. I really think Arizona is the best team in the country right now. But Gonzaga, I could really see making a run. I'm going to go Arizona, though. Again, I think they're the best team in the country with the two guards. Jaden Bradley, there's no guy I would rather have the ball. There's no guy in March that I would rather have the ball in their hands than Jaden Bradley. I'm going to go Iowa State staying hot. No, I'm going to go Michigan, actually. Michigan's going to win this one. Duke, Illinois, Arizona, Michigan. We haven't seen Duke really get over that hump with Jon Scheyer. I'm going to have them in the Final Four, man. I'm going to have them in the championship. They're in the Final Four, obviously. I'm having them in the championship. I could see Illinois winning this game, though. I really love Illinois' offense. And so does Bart Torvik, by the way. And then I'm going to go Arizona here. And I'm probably going to post on Twitter, and let's get a tiebreaker in. How many points are going to be scored? Well, you think like 80 to 80, and you go down from there. So you think 160. Let's go down from there. Probably, it's March Madness. It's going to be slow to start. Probably 68, but good offenses. 70 and good defenses. But we saw Iowa State, Arizona be 82-80. Let's go 1. Obviously. 47. Arizona wins. Boom. Yeah, I think Arizona's, again, they're the best team in the country to me. Jaden Bradley is that guy. I do think Cam Boozer is the best player in the country, but I think that Jaden Bradley, there's no guy I would want to take the last shot. I would want to have setting up my offense, running my offense with 5 minutes left in a 60-60 game than Jaden Bradley. I think that's the rationale. And I'm going to tweet some other brackets out of me just messing around, having fun. I'll give y'all my rationale on those as well on Twitter. But yeah, if y'all enjoyed this video, please leave it a like and subscribe. Let's submit it. Boom. Arizona. I didn't make one. I always make an immediate reaction one. But Arizona is my full thought out processed pick. I hope y'all went on to enjoy this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, do y'all thing. It would mean a lot to me. I want 100 subscribers so bad. It'd be awesome. But yeah, hope y'all enjoyed, and I will catch y'all later. Peace.